Hello everyone, my name is Leon and welcome. I have a new video for you on how to quite literally double your FPS. Now this software is pretty awesome, however I don't want to waste your time. It is a paid for software. It is not a free software, however it is only $7 and you can purchase it from Steam. Today we're going to be utilizing a tool called lossless scaling, and the game we're going to be testing it on is Hell Let Loose. Hell Let Loose is typically a more demanding game than others. Just like Arma 3, just like Star Citizen, it can be pretty hard to run, even on the best systems. And today, we're running on completely epic settings. And we can go here and look over here. And you will notice that I have windowed full screen on, which is a requirement of this software, and we'll have to dive into that a little bit later. So for demonstration purposes, we are running Hell Let Loose without lossless scaling. And currently we're using an RTX 4080. Now this is a top of the line card, right? But you can use this even on cards like the 1070s, the 1080 Ti's. You could quite literally use it on most graphics cards. Anything past the 10 series in the GTX area, I'm not too sure about. I may even buy another computer just to test it out myself. So we're going to go ahead and get into a game, and we're going to see what our FPS kind of looks like without the software running. What we're going to do now is spawn kind of in a city where there's a lot more buildings, a little less foliage, but there's a lot more textures and objects that the game has to render. Even though there's not a whole lot of action, Hell Let Loose can struggle in that area. So here we go. We're dipping now. We're in the 50s. There's not a whole lot of open foliage. I can notice a lot of just not looking good on a 144 hertz monitor, which I currently am running. 1440p, by the way. Okay, we got a vehicle coming through here. We're just gonna say hello to him. There you go. He's gonna honk for us. So as another supply truck comes past, here we go. Very nice guys. We love Hell Let Loose in the community. So they're currently building up a base because we're playing the offensive mode, which we're defending. So they're building up a lot of resources. And again, we're running on epic settings. We're going to look around here. Again, we're getting in the mid 60s. We're going down in the 50s. You know, just buildings in general. And every map has these clusters of areas of buildings and roads and everything else in between. So even if we don't get back in and play on this particular map, this is still going to be similar to a experience that you're going to be experiencing in Hell Let Loose, basically in any other map. And so as we get here, so again, we're getting about 60, 65. Let's go over here. They should be building up this area. And so they're going to be putting a lot of supplies down. They're going to be putting barbed wire, as you can see here. And so this area in particular, they're going to be building. They're going to be putting a lot more textures down. So as it's loading in, you can kind of see here of what we're dealing with. I'm not being very useful for my team right now, but, you know, that's okay. Again, looking around 70s, 80s. All right, now let's go ahead and load up with the software and we'll show you the difference. And again, this software is called lossless scaling. It is currently $7 on Steam. You may be able to get it on sale. However, I wanted to kind of go over, I would highly dissuade anybody from torrenting or pirating this software. I would really hate you guys to get malicious malware or potentially your credentials harvested. So I would just stick directly natively to Steam. I'm not saying that Steam, you can't get that. However, usually they are verified publishers that have to register their apps through Steam. And I would highly advise just sticking to the storefront. So let's go ahead and get into the software. This is what you'll see when you first open it. How we're going to basically double our FPS today is we're going to use frame generation. This software also includes scaling, but we won't go into that today. You want double FPS, so let's get into that. So again, as mentioned, we're going to be using frame generation in order to do this, and the current mode is LSFG 2.2.1. Now, later on, there may be different versions. There may be versions that may improve on performance. There may be versions that may create bugs. So if it's not 2.2.1, then then if it has that version optional, then I would choose this one if you want the best results. I'm pretty sure that you can get into some beta programs and some beta channels, but however, currently right now it is 2.2.1. So as you can see when you hover over it, there you get a little bit of information, and I want you guys to focus on the bottom sentence here. A minimum of 60 FPS in a game and 120 hertz monitor are recommended for the best quality. It is not required, however, it is recommended. And theoretically, what this essentially is doing is it takes let's say, again, a 60 FPS game. As we were seeing, we were getting like around low 50s to about 70 in Hell Let Loose. So theoretically, we're around that 60 FPS mark. But we want to double it, right? We want to get to that 144 hertz, that's what my monitor speed is, and I want that. I want to be able to get to that in a video game. And so again, the minimum of 60 with a refresh rate of 120. Of course, 60 plus 60 is 120, which would be an 100 hertz monitor. And so if you had anything more, then again, you can probably utilize that too in any game. You can even possibly get, frames up to 300 to 400 FPS, which would completely utilize your monitor. But we're going to go ahead and go to mode here. You could choose X2 or X3. Right now, we're going to leave it on X2. Essentially, it just has some more technology inside of X3. It does use a little bit more processing power. However, we're going to keep it X2 right now. We're going to leave performance mode off for right now. And it's just again a part of the actual quality. You're gonna lose some video quality. It might have some blurring, kind of like how DLSS does. And the last option that I personally would change, that's outside the default option, I would go to rendering here. Under sync mode, turn it off and allow tearing. This is just a recommendation that I got from a friend, and I'm going to keep that. Also, make sure your max frame latency is just set to 1. And this is the draw FPS option. This is going to show up in the game. It's going to have on the left side your actual FPS, and then on the right side, it's going to show you your frame generated FPS, essentially, with frame generation. So we'll go ahead and get into a game, and then I'll also show you how to get it to hook into a game. So I wanted to go over something just really quick before we get into this, because you may have this question on the top of your mind. Does this inject itself? Is it cheating? As of right now, AZ Anti-Cheat, at least is the only anti-cheat provider I could find, does fully allow this software to be ran in the background. However, I can't comment on any other anti-cheats. I don't know how Ricochet will handle it. I don't know how to anything else. But theoretically, it doesn't really do anything other than just really increase your FPS in a way. It doesn't allow for better aiming. It doesn't allow for anything like that. It doesn't allow for aimbots or wall hacks or to be able to see enemies faster. It just simply allows an FPS in a game to be increased. That's all it is. Alrighty, so I have the game running without the software enabled. So I'm just going to hit the start menu so that way we bring up this, or you can do a alt tab either way. And in the software, you're going to hit this scale button. And it's going to have a countdown timer. Click inside the application that you want it to basically enhance. And it is currently running. Now, you will see the draw FPS on the left side. Unfortunately, even in direct capture or even screen capture, OBS is not picking it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record some footage on my phone and show you guys the actual FPS counter. And so we're going to just walk through here. Again, we can see on the right side that I'm only getting 70 FPS. However, if we walk through here, we can notice that our FPS actually is doubled from 73 to about 150 or 144. And so this essentially is what is doubling our FPS, is frame generation. And as you can see, it is running fairly smoothly. I'm not noticing any blurring. There's no artifacting. There's no anti-aliasing going on. It may even look even better, in my opinion, on Epic settings here. And sorry if I can't keep the camera stable in this footage. I am trying to one-hand it. Of course, we have some admin text that's showing up over our draw FPS indicator. But as you can see, we're currently running 190, almost 200 FPS in this area. and it is butter smooth. Now, you can also activate this by hitting Control Alt S, and that'll also turn it off and on. All right, guys, well, that concludes the end of this video. It is pretty insane just to say you could buy more FPS, but that is what's actually happening. And future frame generation is here. There is AI and things that are working to basically improve on your game's performance. And I know it sounds like just a dream because it used to be back in the day we would want to say, well, you could just download more RAM and things will go faster, right? Well, no. Well, you could download this software and actually get double FPS. It's pretty insane. But again, it feels buttery smooth. I don't have a whole lot more footage on my phone to show you, but I can tell you that I am running about 130 frames per second in this area. Again, we're doubling our FPS from the right number. So if you see 90, assume we're getting 170. If you see 60, assume I'm getting 120. And so that's just pretty insane that you can actually double your FPS and everything is just so buttery smooth. Anyway, guys, this is going to conclude the video. If you did like it, drop it a like, subscribe for more, and I'm thinking the next game, I might do Star Citizen. Star Citizen sounds like a good game to test this on. So if you'd like to see some Star Citizen, drop a like. I will leave all the links in the below in the description here where all you can get this stuff. Again, this is not free software, but it does definitely help in the in your games for sure. Even on lower end systems, it most likely will help. All right, thanks guys for watching. Peace.